Hello and welcome to Bonus Dad.
Bonus Daughter, a special father-daughter podcast with me, Hannah.
And me, Davey, where we discuss our differences, similarities,
Share a few laughs and stories
within our ever-changing and complex world.
Each week we will discuss a topic
From our own point of view.
and influences throughout the decades.
Or you could choose one by contacting us.
Via email, Instagram, Facebook or TikTok.
Hello,
Hello.
and welcome to another episode of Bonus Dad, Bonus Daughter. I'm Mrs. Doubtfired it.
Hello, dears.
Hello, dears.
Oh, it was the drink that killed him.
He's hit by a Guinness truck.
Was he an alcoholic? No, he was hit by a Guinness truck. Oh, dear. I just see it was a run by fruiting.
Oh, Robin Williams.
I know,
R.I.P.
bless him.
We
Yeah,
have this
bless him.
conversation every single time we talk about Mrs. Doubtfire.
I know, I love Mrs. Doubtfire.
Our poor listeners.
It's when he does the bit in the cake. His face. Hello, dears. I love it. Oh, it's brilliant. That is
His
such a
humour
good
is
film.
just unmatched, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
there's no one like him.
Did you know? I don't know if I've said this before. I might have even said it on the podcast because
Who the hell
age.
knows?
Yeah,
We're
age.
getting close
and
to
all
100
that thing.
now.
But did you know that during Mork and Mindy, they actually had to hire a linguist to come and listen because a lot of the time Robin Williams would say swear words in other languages.
Oh,
And-
I've heard about this.
Yeah, and to try and see if they could cut it out. I mean, yeah, Robin Williams sorry.
Yeah, was.
I mean, funny guy. But there you go. That just goes to show that sometimes the funniest people, it's all a facade.
yes.
You know, what outside
Which
is...
was fine for our previous episode, but you just coming out of the cuff of that, which goes to show that what we were speaking about 5 minutes ago, which is a week ago for some of our listeners.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, Robin Williams. But what do you ever see Mork and Mindy?
No, I don't.
Nanu.
I don't think it's one I've come across. I obviously him and Aladdin. I think it's probably my first ever. Flubber.
Yeah.
That's Robin Williams. Jumanji, the first one, obviously.
Yeah.
What else? He's in that thing with Elmo.
Elmo.
Yeah, when Elmo calls him Mr. Robbins, and he
Mm.
goes, Mr. Robbins, I'm taking that stick, Elmo. And Elmo goes, I only had one line. Because he said the wrong name.
He's a brilliant comedian, brilliant actor, very, very troubled in his life. Addicted to drugs, alcohol, and that
His
as well.
daughter is called Zelda.
Zelda.
Fun fact.
But one of my favourite films that he was at is Good Morning Vietnam. And again, when you actually watch
Good morning,
in Vietnam, when you watch a lot, I mean, he improvised so much of that. And I think when
Clever
they're
man.
laughing in the film, when that's genuine laughter.
Nice.
Genuine laughter.
As
And-
it should be.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Anyway, what are we talking about today, Hannah?
We're actually talking about secret societies. We're not talking about Robin Williams.
No.
Unless he was part of one. I don't know.
We were going to do an episode on comedy, weren't we? And like not the history of comedy, but what the makeup of comedy and how it actually.
Yes,
And we can feature.
We can feature him.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We'll have to have a
And
look
we
at that.
can't possibly kill him off because he's already dead. Because sometimes
true.
we mention people on the podcast. We killed Matthew Perry.
No, we didn't.
We killed Matthew Perry.
We didn't kill
We
Matthew
did.
Perry. No.
And I'm pretty certain we talked about One Direction, and then bloody Liam decided to come off the balcony.
Yeah.
Poor lad.
Come off balcony.
Come off the back. Well, I don't know if he jumped or whether.
Yeah,
I didn't want
I'd
to
say that-
insinuate
yeah,
either way.
yeah,
but
yeah.
Poor lad.
Yeah. So today's episode.
We kill people.
Yeah, no, we don't. Today's episode is all about secret societies. So I've done a Google. Well, I did a Google about a year ago, didn't I?
You did a Google. This has been sitting in the pile to do.
Yes.
And then we did it.
And this was
the file corrupt.
This was one of those episodes that when we recorded
When
it
we
last
had technical
time,
difficulties.
which actually drove us to this point.
It was actually.
It was
the
that
secret societies.
Yeah.
Meant that we could be in my lounge.
Yeah.
And I don't have to get up.
It
earlier.
was us
on a
recording
Sunday.
this episode last time when it all went horribly wrong. That was the tipping point of, nope, we're going to buy our own stuff and we are going to film it and we're going to do it all in your house. And it's because of this episode why I'm £1,000 worse
Lighter.
off. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
And why I no longer have any time because I'm always now
I know.
editing this frickin' podcast.
But I must admit, the editing side for me has actually gotten so much easier.
You've increased my workload.
Yeah, I know. It literally
Yeah.
takes me to edit a podcast now. Say a
I'm so
45
mad.
minutes, 45-minute episode.
So mad.
It will take me about an hour and 20 minutes now. It's so quick. It's all I basically do. It's the so, and I've just said the word, is I take it on the audio podcast. I take some of the ums and the ahs out and sort of cut those
because
out.
I'm terrible for it, and I didn't even know until we started podcasting that I and ah that much.
Yeah,
I think my brain is buffering.
You do this. There's this weird. So I can actually see the what the actual sound file looks like, and it's like that, like that, and then there's a gap, and then there's just one line, and what that line is because you're yeah, that. So I when that happens, I will see that on the audio file.
So sorry.
So did I tell you, actually talk about audio files? So I was mixing the other day. We will come on to the proper episode in a second, I promise. But
tangent.
Yeah.
It's always the third one we record.
I
just
know.
Go off piece.
Yeah.
It's been a weird day.
It's been a weird day. My friend came round and he brought his daughters over. And I said, do you want to see, because I was editing, I said, do you want to see what sound looks like? And, one daughter's about 2 years younger than the other one. And the eldest came over and I showed her the Audacity file so she could see sound. I played it and then you could see how the sound worked. And she was really interested. The younger daughter came over, couldn't give two shits.
Yeah.
She was like,
probably a bit too young to appreciate.
Yeah, it was like, what even is this? What are you showing me, Uncle David?
Yeah.
Like, what are you showing me?
Yeah.
So, yeah, bless
Was
her.
that Edie?
Yeah.
Thought it was.
Yeah, Edie loved it, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Secret societies. I have had a look at 10 secret societies. And say we recorded this a while ago, so I want to see what you can kind of really remember. And I've got a little bit at the end about the psychology and our. Actually, let's start with the psychology and our obsession with secret societies.
Let's go.
Let's do a little bit different.
Let's
than we
go
did last time.
backwards.
So it's like, why do we kind of have this not obsession, but we do believe these secret societies exist. Some people do.
You do. You are such a. You are the definition of YouTube, TikTok rabbit hole.
I just like going down these rabbit holes.
You just one video after another, and you're like, oh, I think I know what's going on here. And I don't think you actually believe it. I just think it interests you in a
from a psychological perspective.
I was going to say from a creative perspective.
Yeah, probably
how
from
creative like people can be and where the evidence comes from and.
I mean, yeah, some of the creative kind of mind thing of where
like what's his name, Charlie Day, with all the like bits of string.
Absolutely,
and he's like, it's this and it's this and it's this and it's this.
Yeah,
and it's just like
it's just the Charlie Day from that's Sunny. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes.
If you didn't get that, if you didn't understand that reference,
is his name Charlie in the show? No, it's not.
Yeah.
Oh wait, is he Charlie Day in real life?
Yeah, it's Charlie Day in real life.
That's his name in right. So
what's
his name in?
It's Charlie.
It's not.
Sure it is.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
It's not Charlie.
We'll have to have a look afterwards just to make sure. I was going to say we could have but she's never seen it. she's never seen It's Always Sunny.
Name?
I don't know. I don't know if your mum would like It's Always Sunny.
It's not really her.
No, it's not really. I think no. But so I believe that secret societies do remain intriguing, or they are intriguing to a lot of people because they do blend power, mystery, and symbolism together. Yes. And a lot of people, people always, they love to think about what is the possible. When they find out the truth, it's often a letdown, but a lot of people's minds will go into complete overdrive about a society and what goes on within that society. But there are a lot of things that people believe happen in secret societies. One is they have lots of power and they have lots of influence, and that many of these groups and these secret societies, they contain presidents, they contain world leaders, huge businesses, CEOs, that type of thing, where powerful people, predominantly they believe them to be men. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these clubs as well, they deemed them to be kind of men only clubs. Women aren't invited. And it's very
gentlemen only, ladies forbidden.
Exactly, golf.
Although, did you know that's not true?
Yeah, I know it's not true.
I thought that was true.
No,
I've
that's
lived
not true.
My life believing that's true
a
until
conspiracy
literally
theory.
2 months ago.
Yeah.
I was like, that's why golf is called golf. And Mitchell was like, no way. And I was like, oh, it's actually not. But a lot of people believe it is.
Yeah. They also believe that because a lot of the secret societies, if they exist, some of these which we're going to go into might not even exist. They believe that because they prohibit media coverage, they don't let journalists in. Of course, that just runs amok with people's conspiracies and theories. But at the same time, you know, if you're having a business meeting or you're having, you wouldn't want bloody media in there or journalists in there because you have to
discuss private matters.
That can't go out into the world. You know, so.
Although it begs the question, what? But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a thing where you have sometimes in certain roles you have to have media training. Because you have to, because when you say things, people will pick up on the very smallest word that you will say.
Yes.
And there's some famous images as well where I see politicians, and not famous images, but I've seen them, where you see politicians in certain aspects and you're like, that person did not have media training. Mm-hmm. Because, they'll be standing behind a billboard and they'll be stood at a certain angle and there'll be a word written behind them. Mm-hmm. And it will do you see what I mean? It's like, if they had had media training, they would have realised that's not the suit to wear, that's not the thing to wear, that's not the place to stand, because the media will twist it. And they will twist it. They'll take segments, they'll twist, and
Do you think anyone will ever do that to our podcast?
Yeah, more than likely. Because you can take, without context, you could take a snippet, put it in.
Twisty.
Again, filmmakers, if you take certain documentaries.
I think Coolsville sucks.
Yeah.
It's
yeah. Can you remember Scooby? Yeah, Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, that's what I was referencing.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just making out that I think the Coolsville sucks. No, wait. And then they just nip out that bit that says the Coolsville sucks.
Without context, it can be damaging.
Yeah.
So
poor Fred.
Yeah. So
Prince Jr.
Yeah, you would prohibit, if you're having you're at a society or a meeting or something, you are going to prohibit media coverage because you're not going to be able to have those open, frank conversations. Because I mean, like if we look at so look at not to go into politics.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, okay, but if you look at
we steer clear of religion and politics.
Yes, we generally do. But look at the interview or that happened between, or the meeting that happened between Trump and Zelensky. Now, I'm not going to go too much into it, but the whole media they went off on it saying that it was a massive argument, which it was. It was disgusting. But that was probably the type of conversation like that world leaders have with each other behind closed doors.
Yeah, of course.
But not in front of the media.
No.
Okay? So so you couldn't have those frank conversations with someone if the media was watching.
No, not at all.
Exactly. So that's probably why the media isn't invited into them. But of course, what it does is it feeds into this, they're being secretive.
I think we naturally think that those conversations that happen will be professional and won't have raised voices, but God,
people are human.
People are human.
People are human.
I would dread to think in history, of those raised conversations that have been had over the years.
Yeah.
There's no way that they keep demure, and
no.
The Queen herself used to joke about on most media coverage. She had a very good sense of humour.
Exactly.
There's no way that she was that prim and proper all the time because you can see her humour shining through.
Yeah. Again, it's similar to sort of back on about psychology, but it seems like the ego, the id, and it's a similar type thing. What people perceive here isn't necessarily what goes on behind closed doors.
Yeah.
So it's the same. It's the same thing. But they're also, they believe these secret societies also have rituals such as secret handshakes, initiation ceremonies, that type of thing. And some of them probably do.
That's cool.
They will have, they will do. But of course, the pop culture has brought a lot into the forefront as well. Things like the Da Vinci Code talks a lot about the Freemasons. National Treasure, Nick Cage. We love Nick Cage.
I remember National Treasure. I think I've watched at least two of them.
Yeah.
There's two, isn't there?
Yeah, even The Rock. I mentioned The Rock. I think there's a bit of a conspiracy thing at the end because they're after the microfilm, which tells a lot of the major incidents happened in the in the US politics. I mean, there's one very final scene in Nick Cage getting in The Rock is him pulling out the microfilm and going, "Do you want to know who killed JFK?" You know, that's the final line in the entire film.
There's a lot of pop culture that kind of references references. Well, I can't now. It's DB Cooper. Wasn't he was referencing
yeah.
Oh God, what was it? Was it Loki?
Yeah.
Loki?
Yeah.
It was like, oh, you're DB Cooper.
Yeah,
it's just the funniest thing.
Referenced quite a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of references to conspiracy theories.
So what is it? I mean, the thing is, people tend to try to piece things together. It's unnatural. It's unnatural kind of thing. That's
use
what
our
we
schemers.
do. We do, and we try to put things into a linear kind of perspective. That's kind of how, not linear is the wrong word, but that's how our minds kind of work. So people do get worried and they fear what they can't see or understand, which goes back to my earlier point of if you did actually look behind the door and see really what was going on,
the curtain, if you will,
you would probably be let down.
Yeah, you'd be like,
oh, is that it? But in your mind, you've built this
built
weird
a narrative,
this weird
that makes sense
kind of
to you.
I don't know, to go to the absolute extreme, blood sacrifices and all this kind of thing, But in fact, it's probably more like a tea party.
Yeah.
It's that's where I go. But because it does, people get paranoid about these things, and it fuels people's paranoia.
Fear of the unknown.
Fear of the unknown. Yeah. Again, that's pattern recognition and cognitive dissonance is essentially what that is, and that's where the world can feel chaotic, and secret societies offer an explanation. It gives us someone to blame.
Yeah.
It's like if you think of like World War III was going to happen, it was the cabal that put that together.
It was the Freemasons.
It was the Illuminati. They're the secret elite running the world, the deep state, all of that. It's that kind of. They're the ones who are. It gives us a villain.
Yes.
That's what it does. It gives us a villain, and sometimes we always need someone to blame.
Yeah.
That is exactly it, but people do prefer in believing that than actually it's just random. But what's actually more scary, because they're both as scary as each other when you think about it, is there really a secret elite running the world and know what they're doing and putting things into a specific order to create something like a new world order, or is it just random and no one knows what they're doing? Both are equally terrifying.
Yeah, both are equally terrifying, but it's more, for me, every country seems to be in debt to each other, but there's got to be one.
We've said this before, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't understand this. I don't understand
this is where
world economy, that we're all in debt to someone. Who the hell are we in debt to?
Yeah, but again, this is where the conspiracy comes in. It's the Rothschilds, the banks.
That's what I'm more likely to believe.
Yeah, we owe the Rothschilds is a big conspiracy. There's a huge conspiracy about that one. I'm going to be saying some things today on this podcast, and feel free to get on TikTok. Feel free to get on YouTube. Feel free to go down the same rabbit holes I've gone down, because I've looking into this episode.
I'm not sure we should be actively encouraging this, but
yeah. If you've got a few hours on your time, have a little look, and you will see how ridiculous some of this actually is. But people as well, people have this distinct distrust of authority, generally across the board. I see it at work as well all the time. People seem to think that when power is a few people have got it, other people become suspicious of that person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, they seem to think, oh, they're doing that because of this, and it goes down almost like a dark route, so to speak. Conspiracy theories about secret societies as well often emerge when governments or corporations act secretively. So, if they do something and they're not telling people fill those gaps in with whatever they think is going on, and this is what the real kind of distrust of authority comes into, and then immediately believe they're part of an elite organization. They're not telling us this, but they're actually really doing this behind closed doors. Got it. But a lot of the time, when they might not tell us stuff because it might panic people even more. Yeah. If they knew the actual truth, and they're genuinely protecting people.
I feel like a lot of the time they do probably just don't want to cause mass panic.
Yeah.
But in turn, people then make their own mass panic anyway.
Exactly.
So I always think, well, you can't win.
You can't win.
You might as well just you might as well just tell them.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then
yes
you'd
and
have
no,
mass
but
riots
then-
and panic in the
But
street.
then I guess by not telling them, it's not your responsibility because you weren't the one that told them.
Mm.
They've brought it upon themselves to be. Maybe humans just crave chaos.
That's it. But do we
Like crave.
Well, I
that
don't think we crave chaos. We crave order.
otherworldly. Yeah.
You know,
order,
and without that,
as all things should be.
yeah, it's yeah. But then of course,
I am inevitable.
but then of course, you've got the whole with secret societies. You've got the fact that the symbolism and the hidden messages, such as like the all-seeing eye with the
Yes.
Illuminati. And I know a lot of the time in buildings they say, "Oh, there's an owl's head in there," but you just yeah, well, okay, kind of looks like an owl, but are you sure?
I can't remember what the terminology is, but there is a term for when you see
Images and
images
things.
of human
Yeah.
human qualities and stuff. It's
Yeah.
it's definitely something that can be done. Should we go through some of them?
Yeah, let's go through them. So
let's go.
through
Have you got
them.
10?
I've got 10. So we'll
Whoa,
kind
we're
of
gonna have to
whip through.
Whippy.
But the first one is the Illuminati. Have you ever heard of the Illuminati,
I
Hannah?
have, yes, and not just because we've already done this episode
Yeah,
already and
famous
didn't
one.
record it, but it is probably the most famous
Yeah. So
secret society that I know of.
it was a real secret society. It did actually exist. Whether it exists now or not is up for debate. I'm not going to go into that debate, but it's up for debate. But the original Illuminati was founded in 1776 in Bavaria by a guy called
1st of May.
Yeah, 1st of May by a
Oh,
guy
it's
called
almost-
Adam.
Wait,
1776.
yeah, so it's
Yeah,
I
nearly
can't do maths quickly.
nearly 400 years old.
Yeah, to the day.
Yeah.
Wow, we planned that well.
Was it 400 years? I'm not very good at maths. So a guy called Adam, who was a professor of canon law. He was inspired by Enlightenment and he sought to challenge religious and political control. So it was to challenge the norm, which is what he tried to do. His goal at the time was to overthrow oppressive regimes and to promote reason and free thought. So he was doing it for the kind of like
Doing it for the good.
for his he could understand
greater good.
the greater good. Did he have a big bushy beard? No.
But did he like a bit of girl on girl?
He liked a bit of girl on girl. Did I send you that drum and bass thing, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
You did.
Yeah, big bushy beard. Hot fuzz. Just the once one, actually.
Carry on.
Was Leslie Tiller murdered? Of course she was.
That's a conspiracy.
Yeah, well, there you go. So it was actually banned less than 9 years later, his society, by the government, by the Bavarian government. And they believed at the time that although it was banned, the Illuminati, the group, then went underground and joined the Freemasons and became an offshoot of the Freemasons. So yeah, they've been linked to the French Revolution, world banking systems, and of course the modern global elites. Their rituals and symbols consist of the all-seeing eye, pyramid as well, and they do supposedly have secret initiations which nobody knows what they are. No one, I don't know if people have really speculated, but I mentioned the term blood sacrifice earlier. I believe that has been mentioned at times.
Our imagination.
Yeah. So key figures was Adam Weishaupt, who was the founder, and no one else really knows who was in the. This is how secretive they are, but they have alleged members such as the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and other world leaders.
It's crazy to me. I mean, I don't know the world leaders at the time of 1776, but it's crazy to me that there would be several world leaders involved in something.
Well, I mean, you could argue, I mean, like the G20, the G7, the G8, essentially it's all world leaders coming together. And they're behind closed doors. What are they talking about? What are they cooking up behind those closed doors?
Maybe they're just a group of lads just, sharing their thoughts.
Maybe they're just having a tea party.
Maybe they're just a mental health group and they're just having a,
Yeah, so what's going on? What's going on in China? Oh, mate.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. You want to...
Can you just imagine one of the world
economy's crashing.
Mate.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see that report on the news last night? What the bloody...
Oh, no, that wasn't in my time zone.
Yeah.
And then the Greek man comes on, the financial times at the moment, and then
we're losing plates left, right, and centre. We're running out of pottery. I know it's part of our culture, but Jesus Christ, just stop smashing the plates. You're crashing the economy. We now owe. Oh, Boris, mate, I'm sorry. We'll pay you that tenner back, but oh, we've got a festival coming up. Can anyone got a fiver they could lend us for this festival for these plates?
And you've got the Irish, and they're going, "Oh, we're having the great potato famine," and then they're sitting there like, "Oh, we just can't grow our potatoes." And then I don't know, the US are just like,
or Ireland, he just say, "Hey, how you getting on? Well, it's National Ginger Day."
Yeah.
So we're all right.
It just makes me so funny, like, mate. Wait until you hear what my country's doing right now.
Yeah. Jean-Luc, how are you getting on? Move on.
Switzerland, how are you? I'm on the fence. Oh,
yeah, Jesus Christ. So that's probably what really goes on behind these closed doors. Mate. So the next one. Let's move on to what I've already mentioned: the Freemasons.
These fascinate me.
So the Freemasons. So they were a stonemason guild in the 14th century, and they've kind of evolved into a philosophical fraternity promoting morality, brotherhood, and self-improvement. Now, the Freemasons do exist.
The Brotherhood of Man.
Yeah, the Freemasons do exist. I do know people who are in Freemasons. And so it's not really a secret society as such.
Uniquely.
Yeah.
I honestly had a message in a work group chat. They were talking about loads of different things. They always bring up random stuff. And someone did say, "Oh, my granddad was a Freemason. And when he died, some people come over, asked for a briefcase that his grandmother knew exactly what they were after, gave him the briefcase, off they went. That was it."
So my real granddad...
Was he a Freemason?
He was a Freemason.
What?
I have his ring.
That's cool.
I have his Freemason's ring.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Has it got the...
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I only recently found that out last year.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I never met my real granddad.
US granddad.
My US granddad, yeah. Yeah, I never met him. Never met him.
Aww. That's so...
Yeah, his family...
Was he English originally then?
No, he was American.
Oh, he was always
American. Yeah, he came over because a lot of American soldiers come over and married my grandmother. Won't go into it, but it was all but yeah. And
cool that you have the ring.
Yeah, but I have his Freemason's ring at home.
That's very cool.
So early prominent American leaders were Freemasons. Such as George
before
Washington.
The Illuminati, it's about 1717.
Well, this is why they think the Illuminati then became part of the Freemasons.
Makes sense.
So there is this belief that they know a lot about history, religion, power structures. The rituals and symbols consist of a square and a compass. They've got supposedly their secret handshakes and passwords. And they're supposed to have these secretive initiation ceremonies as well. Now, I do believe they do have initiation ceremonies, but I think that it's lame. I don't think... They
probably just, I don't know, drink the blood
the tea.
The tea,
The tea. It's probably peppermint and elderflower.
Or mushroom.
Well,
mushrooms.
Depending on the type of mushrooms you get, that could go one way or the other.
Yeah.
It could be closed.
No, I'm thinking it's recreational mushrooms.
Oh, not closed cup or chestnut.
No. I'm thinking like...
The other kind, I can't remember what they are. But
trippy mushrooms.
Key figures such as Albert Pike, Winston Churchill, Franklin D. Roosevelt. But they do exist. They do exist. And I don't think, they are a society, but are they overly secret? Not so much
now. Not that
we
know people in it.
No, but what they talk about and what they go... It's more like, it's just like an old boys club.
Yeah, it's just a group of lads, isn't it?
Yeah.
Having a good time.
Yeah, exactly. The third one I know quite a bit about, so I did do quite a bit of research on these guys. And these guys are called the Knights Templar.
Yes.
Tintagel. They're very old. They were established in 1119 and they were designed to protect Christian pilgrims in the Holy Land.
Oh, not Tintagel.
No, they became very wealthy.
You're Knights of the Round Table,
You're thinking of Arthur, yeah. They became very wealthy because basically they pillaged a lot over in the Holy Land. When we talk the Holy Land, we're talking the Middle East.
Did they steal from the rich to give to the poor?
No, they stole and plundered and kept it for themselves.
Old-fashioned stealing.
Yeah, they were
Got it.
disbanded in 1307 by King Philip IV of France because they were accused of heresy.
Heresy.
Yes,
Heresy.
yes. And that incident is, and we've did this on a conspiracy theory episode, it was that which was the first recorded conspiracy theory about the Knights Templar.
I remember.
They controlled a vast financial network across Europe. And one of the things they're tied to is the Holy Grail. The Knights Templar are believed to have found the Holy Grail.
Random.
This is very, very
mythical,
kind of mythical. Their rituals and symbols consist of a red cross and a white mantle, and they have alleged that they've got lots of religious rites. They know lots about hidden ancient knowledge.
Oh.
And yeah, the conspiracies are, did they survive? And did they become the Freemasons? Freemasons are getting mentioned a lot. Did they then become part of the Freemasons? Have you heard of the Oak Island treasure mystery?
No.
Yeah, some of the treasure that's believed to be on Oak Island is that to be of the Knights Templar as well. And they've got a very close connection to the Vatican as well, and secrets. Oh, Pope died recently.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
We've got a new one.
Easter.
Yeah, I know.
That's a conspiracy.
How
was
was
the Pope die?
to be honest. I mean,
if you're going to die on any day.
Okay, so you know my feelings on religion.
I should not start.
I do hope that what I'm about to say is not going to offend anybody in any way, shape, or form. So I'm just going to say what I'm about to say has got a little bit of a trigger to religious things, but don't you think that was quite convenient? I mean, how cliche can you get?
Yeah. If you're going to die on any day, Easter's the one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Although that is the resurrection of Jesus, so you shouldn't be dying on that day. You should be dying before.
1 for 1?
1 for 1?
1 for 1?
1 for 1.
Tag me in, tag me out. Yeah.
Didn't think about that.
There you go. Zombie Jesus.
Zombie Jesus.
So it was a very cliche thing to do, don't you think? At Easter.
Was. How dare he?
I mean,
plan his
although
death that way.
in fact, you got to give him props for that as well.
Yeah. I mean, we can't. He's dead, but yeah.
Well, but I mean, that's
props to the Pope.
To be fair,
Pope
right?
Props.
I mean, I am anti all religions, by the way, not just Anyway, I did like him.
Oh, did
as
you?
a Pope? I did like what he stood for. As he was very progressive within the Catholic Church, and I did like him. I had a lot of respect for him as a Pope. I thought he was very, very good, and I was actually quite sad when he died.
Aww.
Not like overly sad.
They're
it was
always quite old, aren't they?
Yeah.
They don't get young'uns in, do they?
It was kind of like, oh, that's actually really sad. A lot of people, you kind of, it sounds awful, but you kind of move on.
A lot of people, you're like, oh, fair enough.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, that's a shame. I genuinely thought that is a shame because he was a nice guy.
Well, let's hope his replacement's just as good.
Yeah, well, Leo is apparently supposed to be quite progressive as well.
We like a progressive one.
Yeah. Although, do you know about the prophecy of St. Malachi? Do you know about that one? See, that's, again, Catholic upbringing. So, St. Malachi.
Remind the people, please.
Yeah. St. Malachi was a prophet in the early 1100s, and he was supposedly had a vision while he was an Irish archbishop, and he was going from Ireland to the Middle East to visit the Holy Land, and during his journey he had a vision. Supposedly had a vision from God. And within that vision, he was told the names of all of the future popes.
Oh, okay.
And he wrote them down.
Right.
This document was lost. It was found 200 years later.
Okay.
And it's in the Vatican.
Right.
Right. And...
Is that how they choose the Pope?
No, they choose the Pope via a conclave, and they all have to vote, but it has to be unanimous vote, and then the white smoke comes out to say that the Pope. Yes. So the prophecy of St. Malachi gave, I think it was 115 popes.
Right.
No, I think more than that. But Francis was the last one.
Oh.
So, and the prophecy goes, and some people think it's going to be the apocalypse, other people seem to think it's just going to be the fall of the Catholic Church. But there are supposed to be no more popes after Almighty is just gone.
Right.
Even in the basilisk, I think the pictures of all the popes, there wasn't any more plaques left after Francis.
Oh.
So there's this whole thing, but of course Leo's now been kind of thrown out the window. But the wording within the prophecy that St. Malachi wrote was quite vague.
Oh, okay.
It was quite vague. And you could argue that because all of the popes had this information, they played into it.
Perhaps.
So
yeah.
one of them was supposed to be, it was supposed to be the Pope of Olives, I think the description was in there. And that Pope did actually grow olive trees.
Oh, right.
But
okay.
you could argue, he knew that. So
Yeah, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Sorry, I digressed into a little bit of a thing
It's
there.
okay. It's okay. Should we move on
Move
to
on
the next
to
one?
the next one, which is Skull and Bones.
Yes.
Lots of films about Skull and Bones.
It's a Yale secret society. If you've watched Gilmore Girls,
Which Charlotte now has, by the way, and
Yes!
absolutely.
Charlotte, yes, yes. Apparently you're angry at me, but I don't care because Gilmore Girls is the best thing that's ever entered your life, I'm sure. But
She hasn't reached Logan yet, by the way.
Oh, she hasn't reached Logan.
No.
Okay, well, when you get to Logan, he's in a secret society at Yale. They don't call it Skull and Crossbones; they call it the Life and Death Brigade. So all I know from it is probably Gilmore Girls, but obviously it's in common pop culture, like Gilmore Girls.
Yeah. There's a film called the Skull and Bones, is what just.
Omnia Paratus.
Yes. What? What are you talking about? Where...
I'm talking about Gilmore Girls.
Oh right, okay. Sorry.
They say Omnia
Paratus. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it was.
Charlotte will know what I'm on on when she gets there.
When she gets there. So it was founded in 1832, Yale University. It was allegedly created to form a network of powerful elite individuals.
Like Logan Huntsberger.
Rogan Huntsberger was your D&D character.
Yes.
Limited to 15 members per year, apparently. And members are called bonesmen. And many of them have actually become US presidents. And they have a secret headquarter called The Tomb. Now, allegedly, their initiation involves lying in a coffin and confessing secrets. So you could argue if someone does that and confesses secrets, there's blackmail involved there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, the other symbols consist of skulls and bones, because of course, skull and bones. But George Bush's, both elder and lesser, were supposedly have been members of
like
Skull and
Logan
Bones.
Huntsberger
And his father.
His father, what's his name?
Mr. Huntsberger. I can't remember. I genuinely can't remember. It's been years.
What's his name? I can picture his face right now because he's the granddad in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't remember. No. But they were conspiracies surrounding them is that they are connected to the CIA and also global making policy.
Whoa!
In fact, there is
one little group of 15 members in a random university in the US.
There's a film called The Good Shepherd with Matt Damon in it, and it talks about how he becomes the head of the CIA.
Right.
Matt Damon, and he actually a lot of this is discussed at one of the Skull and Bones thing about after the Second World War and the creation of the CIA, and it was discussed actually at Skull and Bones and how they were going to do it. But allegedly as well, the JFK assassination has been linked to Skull and Bones as well.
Of course it has.
So, yeah.
On that grassy knoll.
On the grassy knoll. Bilderberg Group. Now, these do exist. I do know the Bilderberg Group exists. And they have an annual meeting at across the world.
Hotel de Bilderberg, apparently.
Yeah, but they believe that they're just basically a global think tank of elites. So it's
okay,
load of people. So again, it's like the G7.
It's networking.
It's networking. Yeah, networking. Mate. Mate.
You have no idea what my country did this week.
Yeah. Attendees include world leaders, billionaires, military officials, but the conspiracy thing is, and now I do know that media is not allowed into these meetings. 100% they're not allowed. So of course the speculation goes. Exactly. So people think that they're controlling world politics. Okay.
Sometimes I forget I am media as my job.
Yeah.
I am press.
You are the devil.
But I'm not
You're
in
not
that
press.
I'm not that type of press.
No.
Yeah.
And again, right, just as an aside, in my mind, somebody who is press, you have a duty as well to report properly.
Accurately, yeah.
Accurately and properly. So when I see people labeling themselves as journalists, when they've just got a YouTube channel and they've got no media training, there've been no journalism school or anything like that, I find some of those people quite dangerous. I'm just going to say that now. Opus Dei.
Never heard of this one.
No, this was. I don't think this one exists. This one's been plucked out of the air. It was mentioned in the Da Vinci Code.
Okay.
And they were.
Although it was apparently founded in 1928.
Yeah.
Jose Maria Escriva.
Yeah, they're kind of like they're a Catholic religious cult within Catholicism.
Okay. Well,
and
that's fun.
They're the ones who whip themselves.
Oh,
yeah, with metal.
That's not fun.
Yeah, and
No.
they're kind of completely devoted to Catholicism,
Yeesh.
allegedly. I don't even think they do actually exist, but there is a theory that they actually secretly control the Vatican.
Ooh. That's not dangerous at all.
No, but they're almost like your dark monks. That's what they, think about dark monks.
Yeah.
That's what
I don't want to join their crew.
No. Then you got the Rosicrucians.
Right.
They, again, very Christian based.
Mm-hmm.
You would say with the name like Rosicrucians, it does sound quite Christian. They're apparently alleged to have been formed in the 1600s. Blending mysticism, alchemy, and Christianity.
Ooh.
So they're more like your
Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah. And they're believed to hold hidden religious knowledge.
Dun, 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 yes. Dun, dun. Why are they hiding it? They'd have more believers if they weren't hiding it.
Yeah, well, keep it behind the closed doors. Then
I know the next one.
The Black Hand. Do you want to take the next one? Because I've been talking quite a lot.
Sure.
Go on, you take the next one.
The Black Hand.
Tell me what you know about the Black Hand.
What I know about the Black Hand is that they were the catalyst for World War One start.
Yes.
With old Franz Ferdinand. I say, don't you know? You say you don't know. I say. But they really did take him out.
They really did.
Yeah. Founded in 1911. Directly responsible for the assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand, which I just sang, 1914. So they only took them 3 years to plan that.
Yeah, but you think about how that one incident sent the whole world into. Well, it's quite easy to work out how it happened because it's basically Croatia and Serbia, and they went and got their bigger brothers to kind of start fighting. You
say that as the catalyst, but you only know that after the fact.
Yes.
Do you think, and I know this is a question that you've already posed on here, but do you think they actually started the world? Do you think they thought assassinating that chap, they were like, oh, let's start a world war? Because I don't think so. I think they just wanted to cause a rift in that smaller community. I don't think they expected that one act to make that thing grow. Yeah,
well, that is exactly it. I don't think a lot of people understand how
the consequences of their actions.
And how. I mean, you look at again. Be very careful. World politics. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about India, Pakistan, Israel, Gaza. All of those two conflicts started because of, well, that's a very flippant way of saying it because there's much more kind of background on all of this and political unrest in those areas and history of those areas. And this is I'm going to be very, very careful. But it was one catalyst.
Right.
It was one catalyst that then brought the stuff was bubbling beforehand anyway, but it was one incident that kind of catapulted it then into full scale conflict. Mm-hmm. So, did they know that would happen? I don't know.
I don't think so.
You don't think
I don't think they shot him thinking that was going to cause a world war. I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone can really truly believe that that's what would have happened. They could have been advised and warned against it, perhaps.
Yeah.
But why would they do it? Like, what was the purpose of world war?
Have you heard the theory on the Archduke Franz Ferdinand?
No.
There's a few interesting things about that because when they actually got shot, how they got him was actually quite coincidental. Because he was the guy, and I can't remember this exactly. You will have to have a little look it up. But the guy who was going to kill the Archduke Franz Ferdinand was in a specific place because he knew that was the route that he was going to take. But something happened that diverted the car.
I have heard this.
off that route.
Yeah,
Theoretically,
I have heard
so
this.
that would have meant that the Archduke Franz Ferdinand would have survived and he wouldn't have been able to have been assassinated. But then something else happened that diverted him back onto the route.
Yeah,
Or
I have
something
heard
happened
this.
here, so that then he moved to that route by accident and he killed him somewhere else where he wasn't supposed to kill him.
Yeah, it was.
It was almost like this happened.
It was like, oh damn, we missed our opportunity,
Yeah,
and
but
then
then
it
some-
happened
yeah.
upon him. Yeah, I have heard this. Yeah.
But the theory goes, and there is a theory that it was actually a time traveller. Okay,
Oh,
bear
of
with me.
course,
Bear with
of
me on this one.
course.
Bear with me on this one. What happened was that somebody went back in time to stop the assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand. They then went back to their own timeline, and the whole world was fucked.
Right.
Absolutely fucked.
So they were just like.
So what they were like was, shit, we've got to put this back on course.
Right.
So what they did, so then another time traveller went back and diverted it back.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That is the theory. That is the theory. Is it true? No.
Do you believe it?
No. But I do like that as an idea. But also, the licence plate of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand was the day they signed the Treaty of Versailles, ending the First World War.
It's just
But that is a
crazy
coincidence. That's a
isn't it?
coincidence, yeah.
So crazy.
So that's the Black Hand.
Bohemian Grove. Never heard of it.
Bohemian. I have heard of Bohemian Grove.
Ooh.
They were apparently founded in 1872 as an elite retreat, and
Like the island.
like the island, yes.
Ooh.
And they have annual gatherings of powerful men.
Why is it always these men? Women are not as women are known as being secretive or whatever, or talk. Oh, they've got their own little language. Whereas these guys are going off being, oh, we're all men and we've got our little secret group. I'm sorry, I'm getting annoyed now. They're all men, all powerful men.
But okay,
Are there any powerful women
yeah.
groups?
But all I'll say
or are
on
we
this
better
one,
at hiding it?
all I'll say
Yes,
on
we
this one
are.
is I've seen pictures of the Bohemian Grove, right,
Yes.
with their giant owl in their little woodland thing, and it looks like a campfire because it
Right.
does happen. But they're all wearing robes. So how do you know they're all men?
I mean, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it might not be. So the conspiracy there is, oh, it's all these powerful men. It might
Maybe
not
they're
be.
all women.
They might all be women.
Maybe.
They might. There's
Have I-
Marjorie, Mabel, and
It just says
Ethel.
it just says specifically on this one, annual gathering of powerful men.
Yeah.
I think women are either better at hiding their secret societies, or we don't need that shit because we are honest and tell everyone what's going on.
Yeah. So they believe they do control world policy as well, the Bohemian Grove. A lot of these, when you actually look into a lot of these secret societies, they actually do think they all kind of come together as the same thing as well.
They are all the same.
Yeah,
aren't they?
they're all
Let's
exactly
face
the
it.
same. Yeah.
Last one?
Yeah, the last one, although this was actually found out to be a hoax in that the fact that they do not actually exist. They don't.
Okay.
This recently found out that they never have existed.
Fair enough.
They were called the Priory of Zion.
Okay.
And they were allegedly founded in like a thousand years ago.
Right.
And they believe that the Priory of Zion, the belief is that they hold the truth about Jesus' true bloodline. And they were designed, they were brought about to protect that bloodline.
Okay.
They're like bodyguards for Jesus.
This is bloodline.
Jesus, yeah, it's Jesus' bloodline.
Jesus' bloodline.
Yeah.
So, did Jesus have children?
Well, okay.
Did he have flings?
Okay. So, again,
Love child.
all right. A lot of this is quite religious based, so I will say it. I will say it.
Yeah.
In the Gospels, in the Bible, where's
Mark,
the Gospel of
Luke.
Mary Magdalene?
Well, because she's a woman, she's not allowed to frickin' speak. Is
Okay,
she?
so
That
so
annoys me. Carry on.
in religion, specifically Christianity, okay,
Yes.
Jesus is seen as this, guy who was never married.
Carpenter.
So yeah, carpenter. So he had 12 disciples. Yeah,
All men.
all men.
Just put it out there.
Yeah. But Mary Magdalene. Tell me about Mary Magdalene. Where
Well-
does she fit in?
All I ever hear about Mary Magdalene is the fact that she was a whore.
Buff. There you go.
Right?
Okay. What did Mary Magdalene? Do you know there's a story in the Bible about what Mary Magdalene did to Jesus? She did something.
I can't remember.
She washed his feet.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, she washed his feet.
Yeah.
Now that back then
Romantic.
was romantic, but it was also part of a wedding ceremony.
Ah. did he marry
So,
Mary Magdalene?
Mary Magdalene
Imagine it.
could have been Jesus' wife, but later on down the line, because the church didn't like that, the fact that Jesus was married, they changed the narrative to make Mary Magdalene out to be a whore.
And wouldn't it be funny? How funny is it that he married someone with the same name as his mum?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of Marys around.
There is a lot of Marys.
I mean, in Ireland, you can't go 5 meters without finding a Mary.
Yeah.
You
okay,
know.
fair enough. But I just feel like, yeah, I don't know. It's annoying to me that they would change the narrative to make her out to be a whore.
Yeah,
That
but the church have got form for that sort of
Yeah.
thing. You know, let's be honest.
Oh, we don't like her. Let's make her out to be a whore.
Yeah, exactly. But where is the gospel of Mary Magdalene? There's a lot of the other gospels. Where's
Also,
hers?
wasn't Jesus' mum? Wasn't it a miraculous?
Oh, exactly.
conception?
A virgin birth. Oh, my arse.
Yeah. It's
My
not possible,
arse.
is it?
I mean, there's also the funny joke of like, oh, Joseph was actually what's the word? He couldn't have children.
Oh, barren.
Yeah, barren. So Joseph was barren. Mary gets pregnant. So Joseph is like asking questions,
Fair
and
enough.
Mary comes up with this story of,
Oh,
well, no.
it's the Son of God.
It's the Son of God, where in fact she was
Blessed
just
of the
cheating.
God.
I'm being very blasphemous right about
Yeah,
now.
you are. I think we both are. To be fair.
Yeah, I think we
Let's,
before I do really go on a complete and utter rampage
Yeah, let's
about
end it there.
religion, let's
let's end it there.
because you do tell me off about that.
I
I say that, but I am genuinely quite good, but because you do know I do have these
I think
tendencies.
you play to it.
I do have these tendencies to go off,
I'm
but
way more agnostic than you are.
that's probably one of the worst rants I have. Not worst rants, but
Worse in terms of controversialness. Yes.
yeah.
Anyway, if you
I
like,
just ask questions. That's all, really.
I just ask questions.
I just ask questions.
He's just a bit dusty.
Yeah.
So if you enjoyed this episode of Secret Societies, we have plenty more of this kind of genre actually out there. We've done a conspiracy theory one, no mysterious ones that I can't think of right now, but we have more. So yeah, have a look in the bank. And if you're joining us on YouTube, there's a lot more on Spotify. No, sorry, not just Spotify, but other streaming services as well.
Other services are available.
I keep saying Spotify.
I know, because
we're on
that's-
everything.
I know, but Spotify is kind of
We're
like
on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
We're on everything.
There's
There's
loads.
nothing we're not on.
I mean
Is there?
that's no, because
I think we're on Global Player.
yeah, I don't put them on. So what does the publishing
Buzzsprout does,
Buzzsprout? I just upload it to Buzzsprout and it just sends it out
Ooh.
everywhere.
Yes, so listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. We're probably on there. If not, sorry. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Cue the outro.
Thanks for joining us on Bonus Dad, Bonus Daughter. Don't forget to follow us on all our socials and share the podcast with someone who'd love it. We are available on all streaming platforms. See you next time. Bye-bye.